going to be able to do anything with this. They're going to get a bonus point, and that'll put them on the same number of points as Edinburgh. Well, they're not actually, because Edinburgh got a bonus point yesterday in the win.
There you go.
Newcastle have got the penalty. So, last chance saloon for Newcastle. We're down to 35 seconds on the clock. So they're going to have a chance of the line out. So they're going to move it up that left-hand touchline. They'll have a line-out opportunity. They'll win the line-out. Gary Graham's getting his knickers in a twist over there, one of the French players. And I think that is replacement Ledevidek, who just walks his way backwards now. And Joel Hodgson is just urging the Newcastle players. First thing is get the kick off the field as far up as you can. And Joel puts his right foot through it, and that's what he's done. So the first part of that process is done. They're still an awfully long way, Dean, away from that Montpellier try line, but they've got the ball in hand. The line out is on the 10-metre line of Montpellier.
Yes, they've just got to be patient. Quick line out taken there. They're trying to put some tempo on it again. Really long pass. Williams taking the ball.
Johnny
in the
Williams takes it in the centre, hits contact. The ball is on the floor. Sonatone Takalua out to Joel Hodgson. He looks inside, doesn't give it. Ball is on the floor. Is it a high tackle? The crowd want it. The referee's not interested. Brocklebank puts his head down, runs into defenders. Ball is back on the floor. Takalua, and Montpellier may have been offside in that middle part of the field. The player that is offside is Devidek, and the referee has put his arm out, and he's the one that brings McGuigan down to ground. Chris Harris, hands on the ball, across to Joel Hodgson, out to Johnny Williams. Williams steps off his right foot, but there's two waiting Montpellier players. It's a penalty in midfield, and again the line out will come. This time Joel's got an opportunity of putting Newcastle into the Montpellier 22. What they would give for a line out that was as close to that 5-metre line as possible. And Joel Hodgson, pressure on. Which way is he going to go, left or right, do you think?
I think because he's a right-footed kicker, I think he'll kick to the left-hand side, Smithy. It's just a more natural fit for him. If he gets the ball anywhere around the 22, that'll be a decent kick, and Falcons then just have to look after the ball.
Well, it is down, and that is Vincent Martin is the one who, if it's not quite long enough, he's going to jump. He can't jump there.
Oh, great kick.
They missed a gadget to get up that high, I think, but that ball has taken Newcastle to 10 metres from the Montpellier try line. This is the game, Guy, isn't it? Newcastle line out 10 metres from the try line, 4 points behind.
This has given me reminders to my game yesterday. It's very much the similar situation. The Falcons got this last chance to get themselves over the line and save the game.
Well, Sonotti's drifted across to this side of the field, taken by Glenn Young. He's down to ground. Newcastle group and drive. The ball is loose. It's picked from Newcastle. Got hands on it. Have Newcastle got hands on it? If it's a scrummage, then it's going to be the end of the game. The ball is on the floor. Referee is saying Takalua can play it. Newcastle have got bodies there. The ball is still in play. The game is still live. Newcastle have got to use it. They've got to pick it up and drive up the right hand side, then get some organisation. They've done that. They're brought down to ground 10 metres again from the try line, 15 metres from that left hand touch line. Picking and driving, but they're offside. Montpellier are really aggressive in those contacts. The ball is on the floor. Glenn Young, Callum Chick picks and drives up the right hand side again. They are still about 10 metres. They've made no ground really, gone laterally 2 or 3 metres towards the posts. The French player comes crawling across the top of the contact. He's on the wrong side. Newcastle drive up the left hand side. This really is last chance saloon. Chris Harris is going flat. He doesn't want to be flat. He wants to get some depth in that midfield. If that ball comes out, he's going to be no use there. And Sonotti is out on the right. Nicky Gonover is in there amongst the forwards. He's adding the extra weight at the back. Newcastle, McGuigan taken high but dragged down to ground. Referee's happy. Newcastle releasing that ball. Gonover is there. He's still on the left hand side. He just wants to pick the pieces up. If just a little glimpse of space comes, he's going to be the one that goes in there. The ball is on the floor. Takalua. Newcastle still about 10 metres, it has to be said, from that Montpellier trial, and their defence is incredibly tight, and they're hitting Newcastle again on the gain line. Pickamoles turns his back into the contact. He's the one that does the damage this time, pushed to ground by Adam Brocklebank. Newcastle pick and drive, but it's a little bit high there. Bodies over the top. Montpellier got bodies over the top. Is that another penalty? The ball is back on Newcastle's side. They've got to get it out at some point, Dean. That's going to be the chance, isn't it? They're not going to. They're going to pick and drive up the right-hand side yet again.
No, Nicky Gonover as well is right in the contact area. You really want him just a little bit further afield here, looking for that pass to the line.
Here it's going to come. Joel Hodgson into midfield, across to Alex Tate. Tate, can he get the ball away? Newcastle rescue that ball yet again. Chris Harris has got to get across the top of it because Takalua feeds it on to George McGuigan. Smashed in the tackle, backed by number 17 Fitchin, Gregory Fitchin. Newcastle are going to take it to the right. Joel Hodgson, Johnny Williams can't get it away to Sonotti. It's got to keep live. Newcastle have now been playing the game 3-4 minutes beyond the 80. Mark Wilson's the next one to take contact. Brought down by 2 Montpellier players, including Van Rensburg, inside the 22. Brocklebank takes the pass from Sonatone Takalua, gets into that 22 in midfield. It's going to be moved to the left. Nicky Gunniver's out there. Ruan Pinor's in the outside centre channel. Joel Hodgson out to Chris Harris. Harris has to try and keep it alive. He gets turned in the tackle. 2 Montpellier players over the top. Referee's happy. Ball is back on Newcastle's side. It's going to be moved from Takalua into the man that is Will Whitty. Number 19 turns back towards me. Newcastle still have ball in hand. The game is still alive. Newcastle behind, 20 points to 16. Nicky Gunniver gives the big dummy, nobody buys it. Smashed back in the tackle by 3 Montpellier players. The ball is still on Newcastle's side. Montpellier's defence is so well organised. They're not committing too many men to the contact, but Newcastle still have it. They are now 15 metres from the Montpellier try line, under the shadow of the post, maybe slightly to the left of the post. The man on the microphone tries to get Newcastle on the front foot. Will Whitty lifts a Montpellier hand up in the air. Glenn Young is going to pick and he's going to drive up the right hand side. McGuigan's the one that latches onto him and they make another 2 metres. Gunniver, Takalua brings it out, but Newcastle have got nobody out there. Joel Hodgson's the one that gets tackled. Ball is on the floor. Where is it now? Was it back on Montpellier's side? No, it's not. Takalua has got it again. A Montpellier player comes straight over the top. That's got to be a penalty, referee, surely. Not a lot of arms in that, I've got to say, Dean, but Newcastle still have control of it.
They still have control. It's a titanic effort, this, Smithy, because that's about 20 phases of close quarter driving. Ball's gone wide once and the wrong option, actually. Only 2 players. Hodgson did pretty well to hang on.
Well, Newcastle still driving close to the contact at the right hand side. Adam Brocklebank latches on to, I think that is Nicky Gunniver down. No, it's Sonotti down there, to be honest, in amongst the forwards as well. This is attritional. I think that's the only word to describe it, as McGuigan picks and drives up the left hand side of the contact. They are now 7 or 8 metres from the try line, just to the right hand side of the post. Gary Graham's at the back.
There's acres of space out the left as well, so they're going to get some ball out the left, and they're going to come in that angle.
And it is Johnny Williams that's hugging that left hand touchline, but that'll be an awfully long pass, and the way Chris Harris is looking as the man in from it, they're not going to look to move it wide, they're looking to keep it tight. Joel Hodgson drifts across there now. Newcastle have got a back line that they can talk about with Alex Tate inside Joel Hodgson. Newcastle pick and drive yet again, 6 metres from the Montpellier try line, and they pick and they're going to go yet again. This is a titanic effort from Newcastle to try and keep this game alive. What they would give to get across that whitewash. The conversion doesn't matter, they've got to get the try. They're 4 points behind. The drop goal, a penalty won't do. They've got to get the try. Picked by Brocklebank up the left hand side of the contact. They're across the 5 metre line. They're getting closer. Pickamoles pushed back by Sonotti. Newcastle pick and drive again. They stay on their feet for 2 metres that time. They are really getting close to this line. What will Montpellier do? Newcastle staying on their feet. It's on the floor. Can Newcastle get it back? Can Newcastle, through Sonatone Takalua, get that ball back? Referee Adamson is still happy. Newcastle get back to their feet. They drive it up the right hand side. They're 2 metres from the try line. Even the press bench to my left is shout and go on. Gary Graham stands at the back yet again. It's going to be picked by Mark Wilson this time. He picks and drives into Montpellier players. They're going laterally. They're under the sticks. 3 metres from the Montpellier try line, directly under the crossbar. Montpellier attack again. Newcastle a little bit high in that contact, trying to make ground. George McGuigan's the one that gets to ground with the ball in hand. Montpellier doing incredibly well, not giving penalties away, to be honest, but that doesn't really matter at this stage of the game. Newcastle have just got to try and keep that ball alive. If Nicky Gunniver gets one-on-one with Ungandebe, he's going to steamroller him back across the line. Newcastle pick a drive up the left. Newcastle add bodies to the contact area. It's on the floor. Newcastle literally a metre from that try line now. One more big effort. Can they just nudge this Montpellier defence backwards? Pick and drive. Montpellier flash up on the right hand side of the contact. Were they offside or not? It's got to be one-on-one. Nicky Gunniver wants it. They're going to pick and drive yet again. Go up the left hand side, not the right. Take it the opposite way. But they're not. They're going up the right hand side. They are within sniffing distance of the line. The whitewash is underneath that Newcastle pack. One more effort. They go up the right hand side. They're down. The crowd for the try. Newcastle 6 minutes over the 40 at the end of this half. Newcastle have managed to snatch victory. The old cliche from the jaws of defeat.
Absolutely, Smithy. You said with a minute and a half to go that we'd have to accept a losing bonus point, which I think everybody here would have been delighted with before this campaign kicked off. That's an absolutely titanic, exhausting, attritional phase of probably 40 odd pick and goes round the corner. The ball was never going to be going wide. Montpellier did well not to give away a penalty. Newcastle did exceptionally well to control that football and inch their way forward. Absolutely magnificent score.
George McGuigan got the try, Joel Hodgson got the conversion. It's like this every week, Guy. Did you enjoy that?
Absolutely brilliant. Unbelievable stuff there from the Falcons. They struggled all the way through that second half, but when it mattered at the end, they made it count.
We've got old men in this stand dancing.
Yep.
And it's not me.
Well, you normally are. You've got your dancing shoes on, I can see, so you'll be doing your tap dance along the commentary gantry shortly, won't you?
That says an awful lot about where Newcastle are on. We say this many times, Dean, don't we?
Yep.
Where they've been, where they've come from, where they are now. That was a monumental effort. I said 6 minutes, it could have been longer, but Newcastle went through the phases, they kept the ball alive, they made one wrong decision in that period beyond the 80, but everything else was clinical, and to get the try, wow.
Yeah, and the wrong decision actually didn't cost them, because the ball was moved to the right hand side with only 2 players there, but they still managed to control it. The big thing is, Smithy, they were patient, they were physical, they were accurate in what they did. And that takes an awful lot in the dying stages, the dying embers of this game, to go through what must have been 40 odd phases, sniffing that try line but not quite having the ability to get over it, and be so patient just to compress the space in the middle and keep driving around the end. That's a fabulous effort against a top French side.
Well, I'm being told McGuigan didn't get the try. Callum Chick's been awarded the try, which is great for the young man coming on, and again, he's getting his chances this year, Dean, and he's taking them. That's just a fantastic statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a young player on the fringes 2 or 3 seasons ago, and Callum's a guy I had the pleasure of coaching when he was coming through the system, and an absolute delight. A really good ball player. And in Ryan Burrows and him, they've got 2 really good number 8s, I think, who are slightly different in the approach that they use. Burrows is more barreling sort of ball carrier. Callum Chick's possibly more of a distributor than anything else, but pleased for the young man. He's got to be chuffed to bits as well.